hard.
Berlani Spurlock Walsh, Nakisha Thompson, Kylie Galloway are officials today as Deans just swats that like a volleyball player back to Rashay Kyle. We're underway. Gators in white, Vanderbilt in black. It's a big game for both of these teams here in the month of January as we near the middle portion of SEC play. Rashay Kyle, nice block from Sasha Washington. Here's Kaija Harbinson, who we mentioned in the open, kicks for Jada Brown, a three for the freshman. Empty trip for Vanderbilt. Deans, long lead for Ricards, and the Gators reset. Gators got off to a good start against Tennessee. They had a 3-point lead through one, but then things avalanched in the wrong direction in the final three quarters. Take a look at the starting five for the Gators. This is a 12th straight game with this starting five. Washington, a second consecutive block. Rimdahl, Deans, Ricards, Dute, and Kyle. That's the five for Kelly Ray Finley.
And defensively for Vanderbilt, you can see Washington's trying to set a tone. I'm blocking your shot if you're coming inside. That's two back-to-back blocks on each Florida possession.
And she leads the team in blocks coming in, fourth in the league. She has back-to-back blocks, 33 on the year. Deans throws it into traffic and promptly a turnover. So Vanderbilt wants to thrive off offensive mishaps from their opponent. That's where they thrived last year. They led the league in defensive turnovers and steals.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, a team who would really like to get steals and get up the floor quick to get quick points. We've seen both their offensive possessions. Shots have come early in the shot clock, Kyle.
There's Shea Ralph, 9-11 overall. Just essentially rebuild is the word that gets thrown around a lot. But this is a team that vastly improved towards the end of last year. Missing three starters, Ayanna Moore, Jordan Cambridge, Kaylin Smith, all preseason injuries in 3 successive weeks. They had preseason injuries to starters.
And when something like that happens, you have to adjust because you've gone into the season thinking, hey, we're going to play this style, we're going to have these players. And when that happens so quickly, you have to kind of adjust on the fly and make changes. And this team has adapted to that, and they have taken roles. Harbinson has said, hey, I'm going to be that scorer that we need. Gerard as well, averaging 16.5 points in SEC. She's really upped her play coming to the SEC.
Now, Harbison is the second leading scorer in the conference. Gerard is the SEC leader in three-pointers made. 1 and 2 in minutes as well. They've had to have played a ton of minutes because there's only 8 players active right now.
And they're both very good. They're both transfers, and they're very good transfer pickups for this Vanderbilt team.
Zone look, Brittany, here from Vanderbilt. It's a look that they really succeed on in years past, creating turnovers as Ricards breaks the seal on this one.
It's interesting because the defensive possession, Vanderbilt actually was in man.
Yeah.
And surprising because usually you see them in a zone setup. So maybe they're going to switch it up on this Florida team to give them different looks. And Florida early wants to establish that inside game, I think, because they have a size advantage and want to take advantage of that.
Washington leaves it short. Rebound for Rashay Kyle. Deans has had 21 over 2 of the last 3 games. Here she is at the controls. Over 15 a game in SEC play. Ricards, the cut to the cup, and all 4 from number 15.
And the importance of moving without the basketball. Ball entry into the post from the guard position. You got a little inside out play, but it was more of a dump pass down the lane in the opening of the zone for Florida.
Gators wanted an up and down on Garrod, but we'll say the ball was deflected out of her arms. Now Washington digs inside, missed the lay-in, and Dude has the rebound. Tough start, 0 of 5 from the floor. Rimdahl cruises to the cup. 6-0 Gators lead.
And Florida doing exactly what they wanted to do in this game, establishing a pace and a tone offensively. They've done just that. It's been not just one person scoring. You got 2 people right now, and both of them at the guard position for Florida.
During this 6-game losing streak, 5 of those losses for Vanderbilt have been by double figures. They had a bone-crushing loss on the road at Arkansas on a half-court heave.
Heartbreaker. You hit a shot with about under 10 seconds left, you bank it in, and then Arkansas comes down and banks it in at the buzzer to win. Those are hard ones to take.
Deans, that's her range, left it short. Meanwhile, Ryan Allen, the freshman, has come in. She's a marksman from deep. Jada Brown trying to get one of these to go and finally does. After a cold start, missing their first 7 shots, their first make is a 3. Jada Brown forced into big minutes. She's been a starter for just about every game this year. That's Rimdahl's first 3-point attempt in the last 3 games.
And I think that's something Florida, they need to get going. They need to get her back going from the three-point line. She's been a great attacker in the SEC. She's shown that she's not afraid to drive to the basket, not afraid to go in amongst the bigs because she's so good at eluding around them to get those points and those layups. But I think something that Florida really needs her to do is also shoot the ball, catch and shoot in situations like that.
You see Rimdahl right there. Been a big production piece for Kelly Rae Finley and the Gators here early in SEC play.
And she's someone who, when SEC came, she got bigger. She played better. She played bigger. She is averaging more points in the SEC than she did in pre-conference play. And that's what you need from your players, especially one in Birdie Rimdahl, who is just a sophomore but is gaining so much experience in court time and just learning to be a leader.
Garrod hits both. She entered the game first in three-point makes in the league, second in minutes per game. Impact transfer from Boston College.
So to say she's a three-point threat, that is someone who Florida is going to have to know where she is because she has 135 three-point attempts, hitting 55 of them on the season.
5 unanswered for Vanderbilt after the Gators took a 6-0 lead. Warren is checked in, and she travels. Kelly Rae Finley said to me in the pregame that the biggest thing is trying to find some consistency with this team right now. They were far from consistent the other night in Thompson Bowling Arena. Had a lead after one, and then Tennessee really took over from the second quarter on.
And I think some of that is, how do we respond when another team goes on a run? What's our answer? How do we get a defensive stop, a consecutive defensive stops, and then score to prevent a large run from happening? And I think that's the question that what they're trying to answer right now.
I think part of that is the top pieces for this group playing more consistently, and that's Nina Ricards who comes in. She's been in double figures in 13 of the last 16 games.
She's a senior for this Florida team, and they need her to step up. I think not only on the defensive end, guarding the bigger players, the more aggressive players, which she gets a lot of the times is the other team's best offensive player. And it takes a lot to play that defense, but they need her to score as well. And Birdie Rimdahl taking the offensive charge, a little offhand. She wasn't necessarily set, but it's a player out of control. And you'll get that charge call if you're just going into the lane haphazardly like that.
Yeah, they've said Rimdahl's one of the best defenders on this team, draws the Harbison assignment. Leah Weish couldn't handle it underneath. It will stay with the Gators, 15 to shoot.
After a great start for Florida, going up 6-0, the offense has become a little bit stagnant.
They have not scored in the last 2 minutes. Ricards chased off the line, looks for Warren. Post touch through the hands of Leah Weish. Ricards, look what I found.
So who gets the assist? That's what I want to know. Who gets the assist on that? Backside is where you need to be a lot of the times. That was a really hard pass. You might want to take a little bit off of it if that's a post-entry pass.
Harbison, Garrod, the two top scorers. Here it's Harbison for 2. But her 2,000th career point at home against South Carolina. Entered with 2,001 career points. Rimdahl bends inside, and that'll bring us to our first official timeout. Foul called on Ryan Allen. Good start for the Gators out of the gate. They scored the first 6. Vanderbilt had a response. Back and forth we go. Florida by 1 past the midway mark in the first. In South Carolina.
They had a heavy first part of the SEC schedule. They walked into top 10 matchups kind of night in and night out. And, that's going to build a lot of character. It's going to force you to play hard, and that's one of the things where they only have 8 right now, so they're playing heavy minutes against really tough competition.
Rimdahl was fouled prior to the official timeout and knocks down Bowl. Team best 89% at the line. KK Deans comes back in.
A great free throw shooter, so when she attacks the basket, you like that because if she doesn't make it and she gets to the foul line, she's such a proficient foul shooter.
Bella LaChance tied up. KK Deans and Ricards converge. Alternate arrow stays with the Commodores. 5 for Vanderbilt. You got Garrod, Allen, Harbison, LaChance, and Washington. Sasha Washington had a good start with a couple of blocks on the defensive end and back-to-back trips. Bodies tangle, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Harbison. And Brittany, that's her second.
That's a huge foul that Florida picks up against Harbison, arguably, Vanderbilt's best player out there and their best and most proficient scorer. Just a screen off the ball gets called with an offensive foul.
So you're taking the SEC's second leading scorer off the floor right now with her second foul.
So the question is, what can Florida do with that now? You want to be able to take advantage of the fact that she has her second foul with 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
Travel here from Warren, not a good start. I think you look at the overall game plan for the Gators. Brittany, Vanderbilt is not a team that historically has had a lot of size. That is the case with their team this year. And Florida has had an emphasis to get the ball inside a little bit more on the offensive end.
Well, the first 6 points Florida had, they were all in the paint.
Yep.
And so it's attack mentality. We want to get inside. We want to be physical down low because Vanderbilt is a little bit shorter and smaller in stature than we are, or than Florida is, than they are. And so that's what they want to look to do, is get the ball inside and be physical here today.
Good defensive trip. 3-second violation for Vanderbilt. Jariah Warren comes out. There's Kelly Ray Finley. Had a lot of landmark victories last year, including a blowout win over Tennessee, a win over a ranked LSU team, a win at Georgia. It's been hard to transition that momentum this year. Gators have had some injuries. They get Leilani Correa back for a third consecutive game. She's on the floor right now. Ricards leaves that tray short. We'll get a foul here on Leah Weish. Also of note, Jordan Merritt, who's missed the previous 12 games due to personal reasons. She's back and expected to play some minutes here today, so that's good news.
That's great news for Florida. You get a veteran who can come in and make a difference offensively, defensively for them.
Not a whole lot of offense here to begin this game. Deans.
Lots of defense.
With a steal.
Another steal.
Correa trying to heat up. It's been a struggle knocking the rust off for Correa. 3 of 14 in the last 2 games since coming back from injury.
And that's something hard to do when you come back into the SEC season. It's a lot more physical. It's a lot more, up and down style. You're going to have to play harder and more minutes a lot of the time. So when you haven't played, and since I believe it's around Thanksgiving time that she's had game time minutes, it's a little bit different to get back into the, wind, get your wind underneath you, get your legs underneath you, get your shot back.
How about the fend off from Deans? Vanderbilt wanted a whistle on the arm bar.
She's done that. They've needed her to be a vocal leader. She's done that. She's one of the high energy players for Florida. When times get rough, so she takes a charge. She shows the emotion when she does that.
Vanderbilt beats the backcourt pressure. Jada Brown misses a tray. The cold start continues for the Commodores. They're now 0 of 6 from 3. Should say 1 of 5 now from 3. They're shooting 18% for the game.
That's what I was just looking. It's not offensively going well for them. Only 2 shots made out of 11 so far this game. They're just trying to find a way, I think, just to get the ball in the hole is what they need to do right now. And they're still in this ball game. It's 12-7 right now in the first.
Sticking with this zone.
And when you're a little bit smaller in size, sometimes have to run a 4-guard lineup with 1 post. They play their guard down, you see on the back side. They put someone, you have to put a guard on the back side, and they do that, and the chance is down there trying to battle against Weish on the far side and doing a good job of it early on.
Just under 2 to go here in the opening quarter here on this Sunday. Both teams on losing streaks. Gators of 4 straight, Vanderbilt of 6 straight. Washington bullies inside, no whistle. There was some contact. Rashea Kyle there defensively. Deans revs the engine for Correa. Kyle just taken away by Washington. For the guard, LaChance. Nice job by Deans getting back, and it ends in an Allen and 1. And then Weish also hit the deck hard.
Tripping over Allen. I think Allen was on the ground, trips over her, and I think kind of knocks her head back when she fell to the ground. Looks like she's able to get up, which is a good sign. And LaChance getting a swipe steal on KK Deans and then pushing in transition. Makes a good pass. You can see underneath the basket, a scoop pass around, gets pushed to the ground, and then a strip down by KK Deans, but then Weiss just kind of fouls and then trips over Allen on the ground.
Yeah, I had a good view of it. Leah Weiss hit her head pretty hard on the hardwood, and not even saying this jokingly, but the way her hair is set up almost kind of helped the impact that she had on the hardwood, because she hit it pretty hard. Here's Ryan Allen, a freshman. Can't complete the three-point play. So all things considered, just a 23% start from the floor, only down 3. Backdoor cut, Ricards fights one up and in.
Great cut to the basket. The patience for Florida offensively, kind of stretching the zone out. You have your big at the top of the key, and then Nina Ricards, who moves so well without the basketball. You can see just a slice cut to the rim. It opened up. Florida had their offense spread out, so the middle of the zone was open because no big was down low. The other big was at the high elbow. And so Nina Ricards had a clear lane to the basket. Great pass, and then finished when the contact came.
Ricards has had such an interesting career, Brittany. Remember her freshman year, she was one of the leading rebounders on this team at a 5'9" stature. Her sophomore year was the best three-point percentage player on this team, and that kind of faded away. She became a different type of player as Allen hits the jumper.
Yeah, she became a mid-range player. She's always been a great rebounder. She's still a great rebounder here today. And it's interesting, though, that you talk about how when they needed her to be a three-point threat, she was that. She has really shied away, I feel like, this season from taking a lot of threes, not shooting particularly well from the three-point line, only 26% coming into the game, but she's still not afraid to take the three, but I think she prefers the mid-range.
Well, that time facilitates for the Rashay Kyle bucket. About a 10-second differential here. Ryan Allen along 2. Foot raise for it, and it's saved by Washington.
But it doesn't hit the rim, so still only 5 seconds left. Yeah, that's what I said. Did it hit the rim? They didn't reset the shot clock.
I think that's what the official is saying. Maybe she's saying that it did hit the rim and that the shot clock malfunction was the official.
So they're not putting game clock time back on from when it hit the rim?
Well, first you have the standing ovation for Jordan Merritt.
Fans glad that she's back out on the court.
Minimal discrepancy between the two clocks, maybe about a second. Garrod. Gators have time with 1. Ricards, her specialty from half court, left it short. So the Gators, a 6-point lead after 1, get Jordan Merritt back into the fray, and the Gators looking to end a 4-game losing streak here. He's had to play a leadership role on this team, starter for all 4 years. Nina Ricards, senior from Queens, New York. Merritt, Rimdahl, Correa. You have Dute and Ricards, the 5 for the Gators. So we'll see how comfortable Merritt is, and right away picks up an assist.
And an immediate impact for Florida. And you can see getting back on defense, I'm watching her, and she's already communicating. And that's what Florida really, I think, has struggled with a little bit lately, is having the communicators back there and putting people in position. And that's what you need from your players. And you can see an assist right away, looking away, back. And who is it? Nina Ricards. Again, moving without the basketball and being active on that backside. And that's exploiting this Vanderbilt zone, the weakness on the backside.
What Merritt does gives you that option of a hybrid player that can play around the perimeter, shoot the 3, but can also post up.
So now, right now, with Jordan Merritt on the floor, she's kind of a stretch 4 for them, and that allows Leilani Correa, because they played her some at the 4 a little bit, and now she can be that 3, be a 3-threat scorer for them. And then Nina Ricards, I mean, just going off right now. Already 13 points, Kyle.
Yeah, 13 points in 10 minutes on 6 of 9 shooting. Rimdahl takes it coast to coast. We'll stay with Florida. Gators, their last 2 games on this floor, they've blown double-digit leads in the second half. One against Georgia, one against Kentucky.
And I think right now they have the lead. Can they continue to push it at Vanderbilt? Can they walk away into halftime with a bigger lead? Does Vanderbilt get a stop here? They're a team that's going to fight, you know, from start to finish.
Kelly Ray Finley said, you know, when we have a team on the ropes, can we extend the lead out to 15 or 20, not keep it around 10 or 8 points? Here's Rimdahl. Shot clock waning down. Stop and start. With one, Correa gets it off, and shot clock violation. Not sure Rimdahl was completely aware of the time situation.
How much time was left? I thought maybe she'd go for a reverse because she had the ball in her hands, but the backside of the zone kind of sucked in on her a little bit, but she just didn't have enough time to make the pass for Correa to be able to catch and shoot.
Garada 3. First points of this second quarter comes from Mornell Garad. Shooting at team best 41% from 3.
And you can tell in that last shot why she's shooting 41%. It was a pure shot, went straight in.
Rimdahl races inside towards Merritt. Shuffles in the lane, floats it up, got her own miss, fights one up and in. Welcome back, Jordan Merritt.
And again, you just see the knack for, she missed the shot, but she goes right back at it, aware of where it's coming off the rim, keeps the ball high, the guards can't get a hand on it, and gets an easy 2 points.
Ryan Allen throws it wide of Washington out of bounds. Rashea Kyle, KK Deans in for the Gators. You look at the numbers, Brittany. Prior to stepping away from the team, Merritt was averaging near almost 10 a game.
And they would like to get that back immediately from her. If she could average about 10 a game coming into this game and then moving forward from here, that will help Florida get more wins in the win column here in the SEC because she's such a tough player to guard, and it changes the dynamic of this team offensively.
Also, her 6.3 rebounds is tied for a team best. We got a kick ball here. Merritt just her junior season. Rimdahl thought about it, slices inside. Dean's open look. It's about as good of a look as you'll get for her.
A wide open look on the reversal down. Kind of just flashing on the backside. Vanderbilt way late on the rotation.
Travel from Washington. Turnovers piling up. 7th turnover for the Commodores. It's a team that doesn't really turn it over a whole lot compared to others in the league. About middle of the pack, 15 a game.
And 7 turnovers. Florida only has 4 points off those 7 turnovers.
Kyle, double comes. Demi Washington on the assignment. Merritt a tray. Rashea Kyle trying to utilize that size, and that's where the Gators will have their biggest advantage. That's on the glass.
Is on the glass. Washington down low wanted a foul, saying Kyle was pulling down on her arm, but Kyle trying to just reach over, was getting boxed out, but just has such size over Washington down low. Demi Washington, that is.
Rashea Kyle flips one up and in. Rashea Kyle's had a really good stretch. Had a double-double against Tennessee, 8 consecutive games in double figures where she shot it near 60% during that stretch. Lead back out to double figures.
And right now, where is Vanderbilt going to find that answer with Harbison down on the bench with those 2 fouls?
Into the corner, Jada Brown. Great look, can't cash in. Correa now will run. Rimdahl, you bet, a 3.
And Birdie Rimdahl's first 3 in the last 2 games, first attempt.
Yep.
And that's something I think they want to see more of in this game, as Gerard trying to get back at Florida with a 3 of her own.
Deans contorts, left it short. We'll get a foul underneath. This will go on Florida. It's on KK Deans. Gators on a 7-0 run last 2+ minutes.
I actually didn't realize that Harbison came back in the game.
Yeah.
And I would think Florida would try to be aggressive with her to pick up that 3rd foul, because, I mean, there's 6 minutes left in the second quarter. And if I'm a Florida guard or whatnot, I'm going to go at her.
It picked up 2 quick fouls in the first quarter. Here's Harbison at the controls from St. Louis transfer. Hits the short teardrop.
I mean, that was nice off of just a screen at the top. Found the opening and just rose above the defense.
4 seasons at St. Louis, over 1,600 points. Actually played against the Gators on a Thanksgiving trip in Puerto Rico. Was in double figures with 10 points. Correa long 2.
And it seems like Correa is getting a little bit more comfortable with the more and more minutes that she's getting on the floor. maybe being back at home.
Gators
being really aggressive
feisty
at
pressure
the top.
up top.
I was going to say, they're being really aggressive at the top with Vanderbilt's guards, looking to kind of trap, I think, to kind of get it out of certain people's hands, cause a turnover, continue to be active.
Well, the game plan would have to be somebody else has got to beat you. It cannot be Harbison or Garrod. These two teams played a couple of nail-biting games late in the regular season. Vanderbilt beat a then 15th-ranked Florida, and then the Gators won by a single point in the SEC tournament thanks to game-winning free throws from Nina Rickards. The Gators want to forget that game because that was the game they lost Kiki Smith to a torn ACL for the rest of the season right before the NCAA tournament. Essentially affected their seeding heading into the tournament. Post touch, Washington steps in the lane, missed everything. Go right inside again for Kyle. Spins towards the block, squeezes one up and in.
That's a great move by Shea Kyle down low with Washington on her back. Just a quick kind of shimmy one way and then drop steps to the left-hand side and puts it in.
Gators have this at 16 right now. It's a game-best lead. Washington plus an airborne Tati Weish. Washington, the putback, gets tapped out of bounds. We'll stay with Vanderbilt. That'll bring us to an official break in the action. The Gators shooting 50% for the game. We know the size advantage Florida has come last year. First postseason appearance since 2014. First SEC tournament win in 6 years. Reached the third round of the WNIT. Did a lot of great things last season. Bell the chance. Tough floater. Correa the rebound. Deans will look for Rickards. That's a range, Brittany. 15 first-half points for number 15.
I think she came into this game with a totally different mentality. I'm going to be a scorer. I'm looking to score. She's been the one that's open, and she's taken that on, and she's knocked down shots. Chambers was back. They were going man, and they lost Nina Rickards. And it's a wide-open mid-range jumper for her. And, 15 points. She's taken 10 shots, hit 7 of them. Just look in transition, just out late. They lose her on the backside, and she makes them pay. You can see the excitement from the bench and the way that Nina Rickards is playing here today.
Micah Perry seeing her first minutes, the freshman from Norman, Oklahoma, number 1 in white. Vanderbilt just 24% for the half. Gators on a 13-2 run. Garrod, good defense underneath from Deans. Now she'll push the issue. Splits a double down the lane for Rickards. Does she have 17? No. Weish puts it back in.
Comes right off the rim into Weich's hands. She can put it back in easy 2 points.
Gators +7 on the glass right now.
And with that +7, they have 6 second chance points. And Vandy has none.
Allen trying to get this team back into it. Can't. Dean saves it towards Perry somehow.
It's a risky save underneath Vanderbilt's basket. You see KK Dean, she's a player who, a lot of times she'll just shoot that, catch 5 feet behind the three-point line, opts to not. And
Dude
Florida
saves
gets
it.
Gets a miss, but gets a save back and a reset of the shot clock.
Gators lead at 20. Perry thought about it. Shot clock dwindling down. It goes to Rickards. 15 first half points. Rickards goes to work with 1. Lost the dribble out of bounds.
So Florida now 1 second. So this is kind of a catch-shoot situation. What can they draw up?
Lob it to the rim, Brittany?
Yeah, out of bounds on the sideline, out of bounds. They've got to be aware there's only 1 second left in the shot clock, on the shot clock, excuse me.
See what the Gators have in store here. Just 1 to shoot.
Weiss trying to get position.
Weiss, did she get it off? No.
She
decent
tried
look.
and hit the rim. I mean, she was positioning herself down low. This is good positioning by Weiss.
If you had one more second,
yeah. Just didn't have enough to catch and turn. She honestly needed to catch and just toss it over her head.
Vanderbilt has not scored in the last 3.5 minutes. That could possibly change here with Bella LaChance going to the foul line. Native of Davie, Florida.
And when you're struggling to hit field goals, you've got to find a way. And one of the ways is getting fouled, going to the foul line, and kind of getting that momentum from hitting a free throw or two.
Davie, Florida, about 5 hours south of Gainesville. It's around Miami. That's where Bella is from. Also, you got Alumni Weekend here inside Exact Tech Arena. This is the alumni game.
A lot of former players for Florida in attendance. So LaChance able to end that run for Florida. They were on an 8-0 run, Florida was, and she's able to end that with a free throw.
Rimdahl has 7 in the first half. Cards thought about it. Now slithers in. Teardrop. Getting a lot of good looks in the first half. Get a foul here. It's Tati Weish.
And with that Tati Weish foul, looks like they're going to go ahead and get free throws, as that's Florida's 5th team foul. Vanderbilt has no team fouls this quarter.
None. In the second quarter, Gators have outscored the Commodores 19-6 in this frame. They're the numbers for Nina Ricards.
And interesting, because Florida, a team who averages 22.5 attempts from the free throw line, which is 4th in the conference, and 15th nationally, has not found themselves at the free throw line this quarter. Only 3 attempts from the free throw line total. Only 2 people have been there.
Meanwhile, Vanderbilt, one of the best free throw percentage teams in the SEC, second in the league at 73%. Garrod hits both.
Florida patient offensively to get the look that they want.
Little post-to-post action. Fate Dute missed the double team with a lefty hook.
That's a nice move to the inside, getting the defense on her back, and when you have a hook shot that can fall, it's really hard to guard.
Little post-to-post for 2.
Yeah.
Kyle to Fate Dute. Backdoor was slam shut. Miscommunication between Harbison and Demi Washington. It's been a slog offensively for Vanderbilt. 8 first half turnovers and shooting at a 22% clip. Dumping inside again, Rashea Kyle utilizing that strength.
And Florida's bigs taking over down low, and back-to-back possessions just establishing their dominance and saying, hey, we're going to score, and we're going to score quick.
26 paint points right now, 8 for Vanderbilt.
Clearly, Florida said, hey, we want to get inside, whether that be from our post players or our guards, but we want to score from inside. They got outscored in the paint against Tennessee, and they wanted to change that coming into this game. Gave up 44 points in the paint to Tennessee.
Vanderbilt, you put an asterisk next to it, but gave up 60 paint points against South Carolina, but then again, who hasn't?
South Carolina, a team in the SEC that's just so dominant, so talented.
About a 6-second differential. Shot clock at 5. Ricards. Rashea Kyle's had an outstanding first half.
Just takes it right out of the hands of LaChance.
Rashea Kyle already in double figures, 9th straight game at the horn. Off the mark for Marnell Garrod. And, well, Brittany, the Gators needed a good start.
But they have a big step in front of them right now in the second half, down 21.
Also for Florida, getting Jordan Merritt back. Leilani Correa has played over the last 3 games, so becoming more whole again. As Harbison misses the jumper right on cue, gets back tapped out of bounds, will stay with Vanderbilt. Harbison picked up an early 2 fouls, which forced her to sit in the first quarter.
And not only does that force you to sit in the first quarter, when she came back in the second quarter, you're a little bit hesitant because you don't want to pick up that 3rd foul in the second quarter when you're playing. So she's not really playing her style completely, I feel like.
Sasha Washington, nice spin move to the cup.
And Sasha Washington, a player for Vanderbilt last year that had a really good game in the regular season against this Florida team, had 16 points, 11 rebounds. So, you know, she's familiar with this court.
Here's Ricards. They'll call a fend off on Nina. So a charge on Ricards, her second.
And Nina Ricards looking a little bit perplexed. As not too sure about that one. But you know, let's say Vanderbilt has the ball. Florida looking to press a little bit. And Vanderbilt pushing.
Washington missed the bunny at the rim off the feed from Harbison. That would have been a big bucket early in this half.
And that's just kind of a miss by her down low. She was open on a late rotation out of the full court press by Florida.
During this 6-game losing streak, the issue for Vandy has been defensively. They've allowed their opponents to shoot about 51% from the floor, while they've been out-rebounded by 17 during this losing stretch. Rimdahl, scoop shot, Kyle the stick back. No, but we'll get a foul.
Yeah, can Florida get to the line on these fouls and hit free throws to extend this lead out in the second half? Because I think, you know, Vanderbilt's going to have to get more aggressive defensively. You talked about how they let teams shoot at a high percentage, and Florida right now is at 50%, 51% before Birdie Rimdahl's miss. And, I mean, in order to get back in this game, you've got to get more physical defensively because you can't trade buckets if you're Vanderbilt.
What's interesting, too, the Gators are 15th nationally, about 23 free throw attempts per game. That's only their 4th attempt they've taken today.
They have not gotten to the line this afternoon very often, and still getting a lot of points in the paint, just not getting the fouls, I think, because they've been easy looks at the basket for Florida.
Shea Kyle splits 2. Vandy has to rely on Garrod and Harbison. 14 and 11 in black.
And if you're Florida, you want to try to continue to contain them. As you see, they go straight to that was a nice cut by Harbison.
That pass was special.
Yeah, that was nice. A good cut, and then a phenomenal pass, just threading the needle through the defense of Florida.
How about that? Woo! Behind the back for Deans off the glass.
And KK Deans for Florida getting fancy. In transition behind the back, goes up with it, gets a little bump, but's able to get it to fall. She's a special player for Florida. What a great pickup in the transfer portal for them.
And it's been a slow game for KK Deans, just her 4th point, 2 of 8. Allen tries to go back to her again, one too many times.
But for Florida and KK Deans, those are the type of plays I feel like where she gets a lot of energy, and you know she might go down and go on a 5 or 6 game scoring.
That pass was
Oh, sorry, that came back. But then they go to KK Deans, but that pass was so great. And then that move was just phenomenal.
A little late behind the back.
Those are those plays where you never know, she might come down and just pull up a 3.
Yeah. Rimdahl says, why not? Cash, a 3.
Instead, she finds a wide-open Birdie Rimdahl, who hits a second 3 for Florida this afternoon.
Double figures for Birdie.
So now Florida with 3 players in double figures.
Now in the box out, can't finish, finds Deans. Crossover to keep possession. Had Rimdahl open, had about 3 people open and threw it out of bounds. Birdie was open on the wing, dude underneath. Yeah. Ricards was open.
Nina Ricards and Faith Dude were both open at the basket. You see Kelly laughing kind of about it because, I mean, there were 3 players open in a transition push. I mean, you got to be happy with that offensively for Florida, but then the ball tried to get a little bit too fancy, and I think Faith Dude thought it was going to Birdie Rimdahl for a 3, and she was going in for a rebound.
Bill LaChance. Double dribble.
And caught it on her hip when she was cutting to the lane. Kind of one of the dribbles, I think, brushed her hip, and then she put it back down.
Leading scorers, you got 3 in double figures. Gators have had 6 players this year that have averaged for the season about 9.5 or more. They've had some balanced scoring. Rashay Kyle, just tough to stop.
That was tough and easy down low for Shea Kyle with her, what is that, 13th point, 6 of 7 from the field, shooting very efficiently for Florida.
Gators a 7-0 run. Allen no. Yalbrion Chambers. Dude has it. Kyle is nearing a possible double-double. She has 6 rebounds with 13 points. Deans goes behind the back. Little Globetrotters action for KK Deans. Skip give. Ricards goes high to grab it. Winds up in the hands of Kyle.
And just brought it down a little bit too low.
Garrod slams on the brakes, spiked out of bounds by Chambers.
And this not good for Vanderbilt as Allen goes down. Kyle gets tripped up, and I was watching and actually saw it. And definitely a part of her knee where she's holding on. So hopefully that's nothing significant for this Vanderbilt team who's already shorthanded.
Yeah, they only have 8 active players. 24% from the floor offensively. They only had 10 points in the second, 11 in the first. 5 of their 6 league losses have been by double figures. This looks to be trending in the same direction. Their lone single-figure loss at the buzzer against Arkansas on the road. Severely undermanned. Ryan Allen out with injury, so now 7 players available.
And she's running in the huddle, or in the kind of tuck-away area over there to the side, I think trying to see if she's able to get back in this game for Vanderbilt.
Bill a chance. Long 2 is true. Got to step back a step, make that a 3.
Yeah, and you can see Vanderbilt trying to score early as Florida, it makes them pay when they jump into their full court press. Leilani Correa gets out quick for an easy 2. But they're going to have to, Vanderbilt, they're going to have to start scoring, a little bit quicker to get back in this game. And I think that's what LaChance is kind of saying over there. Hey, we got to get going.
You wonder how much this team has in the tank late in games because the amount of minutes that this rotation has had to play. We got a block here from Faith Duke, who already has tied a career high in rebounds tonight.
Faith Duke getting it out of here, and then knocks over a lens by someone who has a camera over there and goes ahead and sets it back up for her. What a block. Just catches it in the air. Goes over, he's a good citizen, picks up the lens, sets it back up.
That's a Brittany Davis block in the manager games on the road. Here's Harbison with 2, fades and fires off the glass. Ricards has it.
Ooh, that's,
moving screen.
Yeah, she said she had her arms up, but I think moving her body gets called with the moving screen.
We'll step aside past the midway mark in the third. All smiles for Kelly Rae Finley. Why not? Gators up big.
Add to your bench with just experience playing at this level. The way in which player development, I mean, she's a phenomenal player. So what she can bring and the knowledge that she brings to this game and to your team is just phenomenal.
Of course, Shea Ralph spent 13 seasons at UConn, was a player and coach. With Gino, Washington loses it as the shot clock was going down. Bumper cars near midcourt. Foul called on.
Hear the crowd.
Yeah, Garrod. That was a violent collision. Meanwhile, Merritt's back on the floor. First game back since Thanksgiving for her. I'm sure a boost in morale for the Gators as they start to become more whole again as a roster. It's going to take some time for Correa and Merritt to acclimate back into game action.
And not only just them acclimate, you've played so long without them. So the players who have been playing have to get back familiar with, playing with them on the court and where they are and where they like to get the basketball to score. Good block and transition by Correa.
Yeah, Correa able to get the position, find the block on Harbison.
And it gets the out behind her, blocked from behind, gets beat to the basket, but able to come in on Harbison and get it from behind and just knocks it right out of bounds.
Gators 6 blocked today. Washington fights one up and off. Merritt has it.
And Washington for Vanderbilt, she's a tough player down low. You can see the way that she plays. She positions herself well. She fights down low. She might be undersized, but she gives a whole lot of effort to make up from it. She's a very hard worker for this Vanderbilt team.
Merritt crashed down.
Oh, and that's a collision. Talking about how tough Washington is, and Jordan Merritt, Washington gets up and running it off.
Merritt is on her feet. Washington slow to get up. She jogs back to the bench. Welcome back, Jordan Merritt.
That'll get you back in quick.
They called a charge on that. Oh, good to see Ryan Allen back on the floor, number 24 in black. Chambers. Get a foul.
Well, you say Shea Kyle hit her in the head.
That'll do it. 14th foul for the Gators with 3.5 for the quarter. Another touch for Chambers over the shoulder.
Trying to go around the defense so they're back to the basket. That would have been a nice shot.
7th rebound for Rashay Kyle. Correa cuts to the cup.
Block.
Jada Brown.
Vanderbilt looking to go inside consistently. Down low, trying to get an in-out game going, and Allen knocking down the 3 for Vanderbilt. It is good to see her back out there after that kind of knee scare. To see her running around is good.
Both teams combined 5 of 23 from three-point land. Correa got fouled.
Hasn't really been a three-point shootout this afternoon, but man, the points in the paint, that's been the difference, I think, in this game. Florida has 34 points in the paint to Vanderbilt's 14. And you see Vanderbilt trying to get the ball inside, but Florida's defense has just kind of put a stop to that.
Rimdahl and Kyle come out. Deans and Dude are in. Dude had the chair pulled out from underneath her, still finds the pass in the bucket. She was stumbling as that pass came in.
Able to keep her balance and finish.
Gators lead hovering 20-plus here throughout this third quarter. Chambers a strong take.
And the emotion afterwards. The only way to get back in the game is to get those points, and Chambers knows that and attacks Florida's defense.
Merritt elects to take it down the lane. Vanderbilt ball.
And I like that she shows that attack mentality after the last time she had the ball. She got the charge call. But then you see the play before it. I mean, maybe a foul. Got caught without a foul. And that's what coach was saying. Hey, she got held on the going up with it. But Faith Dude doesn't matter to her. She finishes strong. And that's what you have to do as a post player down low. Sometimes you get the whistle and sometimes you don't. I mean, the refs are human. They miss calls sometimes. They make the calls. But you have to still be able to finish strong around the basket for your team, no matter what.
Offensive foul on Chambers. Well, both teams will have a game off in the midweek, so have some time to kind of watch this film. See the hard screen. KK Deans had some violent contact a couple times here in this game. Go inside again. Faith Dude double. Inside out. Well off. Again, Faith Dude on a foul.
And Faith Dude trying to hustle for the rebound and gets caught with a foul. And now that'll result in Vanderbilt shooting free throws. And Washington coming back in the game, but coming back in for Chambers, who's shooting. So good to see her getting back in the game after the big collision as well.
We'll send Chambers to the line. There's 17 attempts on the year. From Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Tough stretch for this Commodore team. The 6 straight losses. Average losing margin of 23 points. You see the rebounding issues they've had. Only entering with 8 active players. 3 starters hurt in the preseason, out for the year. Jordan Cambridge, Ayanna Moore, Kaylin Smith. They also had a dismissal from their roster. Amari Williams, who is a 4-star prospect, was dismissed from the program earlier in the year after violating team rules. So there's another player they took, a promising player, off the roster. It's a team that, if everything stayed intact, and it's a big if because of everything that's happened, but you're looking at a team that could finish as high as probably 5th or 6th in the league. They had that much talent.
They were trending upward for sure in their ability to defend and score, and you see some of the defense stepping up at the half court as they get a steal and a layup. And the pressure continuing for this Vanderbilt team as they know they have to get the ball. They have to turn Florida over and get points to get in this game.
That's what they do so well, extending that pressure in the zone.
And that's what they were so good at last year, too,
yeah.
is turning you over, keeping you on your toes, changing up the defenses, getting in the zone and moving almost like it's a man.
Merritt was wide open. They had the top steals artist in the country, Jordan Cambridge. Tore her Achilles in the preseason. About a 3-second differential. A chance to cut this to maybe 17, 16 points. Harbison's got to go to work. Gets blitzed there, and Washington all alone. 17-point game. 3 seconds left. Deans try to get one up. Does get it off. Doesn't go. Somehow found that one to get to the rim. Amidst a lot of traffic, so a 7-0 run. Best offensive burst from the Commodores as we head to the fourth quarter. Gators led by with the size differential, impossible to stop at moments for Vanderbilt.
In the efficiency that she's shooting with as well. 6 of 7 from the field this afternoon. She has 7 rebounds, right on the edge of that double-double.
So starting the quarter with the 17-point lead. Kyle posting up on the block, and we'll get a foul here. Hand check on Demi Washington.
And if you just look out on the court right now, Vanderbilt is very small compared to Florida. So can they take advantage of that?
Brittany, the numbers in the third quarter for the Gators. Through 3 quarters, 49% from the floor, those 36 paint points. Rashea Kyle, that's where they want her, 15 feet away. Correa rolls off the rim, and the tap from Kyle, loose ball. Correa comes up with it.
And will Florida look to continue to establish that post dominance and that paint dominance down low as they look to get the ball inside, not just settle for outside shots?
Shea Kyle gets that double. Rimdahl open look. Well, it's fair to say, Brittany, as it's Vanderbilt ball, the Gators will get a lot of open perimeter shots. Yeah. They're going to sell out with the struggles from the Gators for 3. They're going to sell out on the blocks.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Will Florida be able to, get some flashes on the backside to open up the block? Because the double, triple teams may come down in the post. But you can't just, Florida has not shot the ball particularly well from the 3-point line. Today, only 4 of 16, and you better bet that's what Vanderbilt's going to say, hey, go ahead until you start hitting some. We're going to give them to you.
Washington the miss to Sasha Washington with the rebound. Garrod step back 3. Need some of those to go down.
A great rebound offensively by Washington down low.
Just a lid on the basket.
Tenacious to get the rebound.
Garrod, second chance, hits the 3, and it's down to 14. SEC's leader in 3-point makes has a big one. Rimdahl got fouled from behind. Is there enough stops for Vanderbilt to make this a single-digit deficit?
And you saw the last offensive possession for Vanderbilt. They were on the glass. They were getting second, third chance opportunities, and as a result, they knocked down a big 3. They've struggled from the 3-point line as well. That's their 4th 3 of the afternoon.
So it sends Rimdahl to the foul stripe. Double figures today for Birdie. There's Kelly Ray Finley. Continuing to try to build the culture here for Florida women's basketball. First full year as the head coach. Got the interim tag lifted after Couple of big wins last year in SEC play in late February. Garrod tees it up again. Correa, the long rebound. Now we'll run the floor. Leilani to the cup. Acrobatic scoop shot. No. Chambers able to save it. Harbison revs the engine to the cup. They just can't get consistent offense. A lot of looks around the rim. So 28% for the game.
I mean, Vanderbilt, they have 54 attempts. They have more attempts than Florida does. Florida only has 52. Vanderbilt has 54. They're just unable to connect. But doing what they need to here in the fourth quarter, getting stops. Can they find enough offensive production, though?
Gators cough it up for a 14-time. Turnover numbers somewhat even. Vanderbilt +2 in that stat. Harbison, the switch with Duke. Demi Washington, a three. Down to 13. First made three all year.
Another almost steal by Vanderbilt. Florida's going to have to calm down a little bit, get control offensively. Take care of the basketball. Don't panic when this full court press is thrown at you.
How about this, Brittany? For Demi Washington, her first made three all year was 0 of 7 before that attempt. You take them all, right?
I mean, when you're down, you got to take it.
If you're open.
Look at the hustle, though. Hustle, I think, by Demi Washington, knowing that they need the basketball and they need to slow down Florida.
Great pass. Backdoor cut. Rimdahl missed the bunny. Loose ball. Rimdahl on the deck. Saves it towards Deans. Woo. Bounce inside. Correa, what a sequence. All because of the hustle from Alberti Rimdahl.
And that's, she just brings so much to this Florida team. The extra effort, the hustle. You talked about how good she is defensively for Florida, the way that she can score, and she's shown that she's not just a three-point threat for Florida. She can drive to the basket. She can finish. She can finish at the line. See the on the ground to get the ball, gets it out to KK Deans, and just a beautiful backdoor cut and dime to get that bucket.
Meanwhile, Merritt picked up her second foul. Harbison, the snap crossover. With contact, still able to finish. SEC's second leading scorer. Kaija Harbison, transfer from St. Louis. Double figures with 12. Merritt rolls to the rim. Off the glass.
That was nice. Florida needed some answers. Vanderbilt was sneaking back in, cutting away at the lead, and they've gotten some good answers offensively.
4 points in Merritt's return. I think blood on Rimdahl's.
The lead, they're fighting for every possession. They're jumping into presses. They're playing aggressive. They're not backing down by any stretch of the imagination.
Here's Demi Washington. Garrod. They foul a three-point shooter. Or is this off the ball?
It's off the ball, I think, on Washington.
There's Tati Weish underneath, I believe, for her third. That's her third foul. This will be a baseline entry. Faith Dute will come in for Leah Weish. Can Harbison, Garrod, and Vanderbilt make this a game in the final 10 minutes? Merritt, big block, and they call a foul. This will be on Garrod.
Just hands straight up on the shot. Garrod just shoots it straight into Jordan Merritt's hands. Off of a screen, Jordan Merritt just goes straight up and blocks it in the air, and then just a tie-up trying to get it back.
Back door, finds Correa, contorts to the cup. Misses the bunny, got her own miss. Deans passes up the three, has the open lane to the rim.
Almost loses the ball, able to corral it back in. Wide open for a layup.
Deans with 6. Deans has had a team best 15 games in double figures this year for the Gators. Washington, the offensive rebound. The clock is the enemy. Right now for Vanderbilt, approaching just 5 minutes to go. LaChance, hesitant turning of the corner. It's Merritt, back-to-back blocks.
And Florida coming in defensively, defensive strong off the ball, catching it in the air and throwing it out of bounds. That's Florida's 8th block of the game, Kyle. And get another one.
That ties
It's like a tip.
season high in blocks. Dean's corner tray. Doot one-handed rebound. We'll call a foul on Demi Washington, so Doot will go to the strike. Lead now at 17. And we'll step aside one final time and fake Doot free throws on the other side. There's 3 unbeatens at the current moment in the league. LSU, Tennessee, and South Carolina. No, it's interesting how the schedule played out that none of those top teams have played each
That's
other
what I was
yet.
about to say. I was thinking, man, that's a lot of unbeaten, or
A lot of unbeaten teams at this point in the year. They just
have.
haven't played each other yet. They will.
And so that'll be interesting because they will end up playing each other, and there should be some really great matchups in the SEC for sure.
Fate Doot knocks down both free throws. Lead back to 19. Vanderbilt cut this as close as 13 points here in the half. Bella LaChance right into the arms of KK Deans. Just runs the rim. Correa puts it back in.
And that's exactly why you follow the play. So if you're watching this game and sometimes think, oh, it's a wide open layup, sometimes they just roll out the rim, and that's why it's always important to go ahead and follow your teammates in. And just in case if they miss it, you get that putback.
8-0 Gator run. Pick and roll. Sasha Washington somehow found Chambers. LaChance. Washington dives down to the ground. Florida ball. Some of the other scores, South Carolina all over Arkansas. 42-19. If Georgia and A&M. And Tennessee, Missouri playing a close game late in the second quarter. There's a very big middle of the pack, I would say, this year in the SEC. Not as many ranked teams, Brittany. Only 2 in the AP Top 25, which just does not happen. Last 5 years, you usually got 6 or 7. Of course, South Carolina and LSU are the only 2, and they're in the top 3. Deans will skip it. Ricards.
When they play each other, that will be a great game.
The emergence of Angel Reese in the SEC as Harbison gets the N1. A walking double-double for LSU. Leah Boston returning to South Carolina.
His drive to the basket by Harbison, just downhill, and KK Deans gets tripped up and kind of tries to get the back tip, but instead gets the foul on the wraparound, trying to tip the ball out of bounds.
Kaija Harbison has had a pair of 30-point games this year, 34 against a ranked NC State team, 31 against Lipscomb. Led the conference in minutes per game. Played over 36 minutes a game. It's a workhorse. Ball out of bounds. What good things can Vanderbilt put on tape here in the final 3.5 minutes? These are the things that matter for a rebuilding team.
And just for the confidence going into the next game, if you can finish a game strong, that helps you going into the next game. What can you build upon from this game to the next?
Sasha Washington. Now Chambers. Nice save from Ricards. Gators at 46% from the floor. They've had a struggle from 3 today. They've shot the free throw well. Backdoor Ricards. It's been points in the paint, the big difference tonight. 44 for the Gators. Harbison accelerates to the cup. And a lot of misses in the paint for Vandy. Rimdahl, vision, Correa goes down hard. Just exhausted, Leilani Correa.
And Washington down, trying to get the block, the body foul with the block. In transition, just pushing it right in.
More a part of the offense today, Leilani Correa, transferred from St. John's, where she had such an acclaimed career. 2-time first-team Big East. led St. John's in last year's scoring, minutes per game. 63s a year ago. Averaged about 16 a game, and that was what she was averaging prior to her injury here. Now, how does that translate into the SEC? We'll wait and see.
The defense is a little bit different, and then when they know you're the scoring threat, they guard you a little bit differently as well. And coming into this game, I mean, maybe not, she has 10 points, but lower than her average. But she also has 7, I believe, or 6 rebounds. So also looking to attack the glass for Florida.
A 3 from Harbison from the corner. Only shot at 26% from the arc entering the day. A lot of her scoring has come in the paint this year at her 18 a game.
I'm going to say Florida needed to see the mismatch. And at one point, Gerard was sitting on Faith Dupe, but they were able to switch out of that.
Jariah Warren.
Woo.
Off the cyclone spin, off the window for Warren.
The timeliness of the spin off the defender and then finishing. Jariah Warren is a special player for Florida. Just the length that she brings and the athleticism off the bench.
It's all about continuing to develop for Jariah, just a sophomore.
And look, the time it spins right off the defense. And not afraid of the help side from Washington coming. And you see the reaction from her teammates, excited for her.
Sasha Washington.
Sasha Washington is a phenomenal player for Vanderbilt. She's just such a workhorse down low. You can see it when she plays. When you watch her play with the energy that she plays with, the positioning down low that she gets, she works hard to defend. Again, a lot of times she's undersized, but she doesn't let that stop her, whether that be offensively or defensively. She's a very hard worker.
Yeah, 3 games in double figures in SEC play. Had conference high 13 against Tennessee.
And she's the player really for Vanderbilt who's guarding all the tough defenders in the SEC.
Well, Gators add another block. That's their 9th season high. They can churn game clock. We're going to foul here. That is, Gators are in the bonus, so free throws here for Warren coming up. Gators are at Auburn on the Plains on Monday. And then Vanderbilt will be home for Texas A&M. Very winnable game for the Commodores at home.
And Vanderbilt's always an interesting place to play at because of the setup of how their gym is and where the benches are. So it's always different kind of when you walk in there and see it.
Yeah, the Memorial Gymnasium, they call it.
And they used to have hanging goals. Now they have a backboard stop like we see here. But before it was hanging, so there was nothing underneath, which made it even more of a different venue.
Shea Kyle couldn't save it.
From a player standpoint as well as a coaching standpoint.
At 16 wins last year, second most wins of any Vanderbilt women's hoops coach in their first year. Harbison gives it up. Just 1 minute left. Gators will try to hold for a good shot, and they call a timeout. Some substitutions. They'll get a walk-on Paige Clausen. That's right.
And that's what all your teammates want you to do as well. They want you to score. They try to set a good screen for her to get the ball, maybe.
Clausen in that far corner. We'll give it to her. Here it is. Just too much on it. Shot clock did not reset. I thought maybe that hit rim. Rimdahl with 1, glides all the way in, right at 0 on the shot clock.
And they were trying to get her that bucket. Jariah Warren drives in. She knows she's in the quarter, tried to get her to knock it down. And that's the unselfish play of Florida. And Jariah Warren probably could have gone to the basket for a layup, but tries to get her teammates some points.
Washington tripped up. So a lot to like for the Gators today. Had to have it on their home floor. Were able to win it. Snap a 4-game losing streak.
And if you're Florida, you're also happy with the fact that you went up fairly big on Vanderbilt. You were able to keep the lead, even though they brought it into, 13? And so you were able to go on a run of your own to stretch the lead back out in games where before, you've lost the lead and then ended up losing the game. So you have to be happy with that bounce back for Florida.
Yeah, Vanderbilt had a 7-0 spurt in the third quarter, cut it down to 13 points, made it a little interesting. Gators will dribble this one out. We'll have Rashay Kyle coming up on the post game here at our broadcast table. Gators had to have it at home, and the Gators back to winning ways. Big conference win for Florida, snapping a 4-game losing streak within the conference. Gators now 22-0 under